BBC 2 now continues the series about the turbulent career of the great French playwright Molière, The Life of an Honest Man, and this week he finds security and acclaim at the French court. Here on BBC1, in a few moments, Fiddler on the Roof, starring Topole as the poor milkman determined to find good husbands for his 5 daughters.
Sunday evening entertainment on BBC1. At 7:15, One by One. Something is worrying the sheep, and it's not a dog that's loose on the moors.
Now, you'll need to get your things together for this lion hunt of yours. You better wrap up well. You're going in the zoo van with Paddy Riley.
Oh, not Riley.
At 8:05, Mastermind, and 4 more contenders answer questions on such diverse subjects as the Medici and swallows and Amazons. At 8:35, Dynasty, and a shock for Fallon and Adam.
Fallon, Adam. Well, isn't this wonderful? I'm so happy that you two finally met. Well, what do you think of your good-looking brother?
Brother?
Sunday evening on BBC1.
Now, on BBC1, Topole turns in a resounding performance repeating his stirring stage success as Fiddler on the Roof, our film matinee. The film matinee next Sunday afternoon finds Errol Flynn swashbuckling his way through a private war against the Spanish might and main as the Seahawk, and that's at 2:15 next Sunday afternoon.
Later next Sunday, the start of a new series of the Antiques Roadshow, presented by Hugh Scully.
If the crowds here at Poole in Dorset are anything to go by, we are in for a very interesting series of the Antiques Roadshow, and a very successful one too. Plenty of people here with their parcels containing we know not what, but we'll soon discover. Paintings and prints, I've no doubt, porcelain, silver, furniture, arms and armour. During the course of the next few weeks, this series will touch on virtually every aspect of the antiques world. We begin here at Poole in Dorset, and we take the roadshow south to Jersey and the Channel Islands, north to Aberdeen in Scotland, and to several other towns and cities in between. So we very much hope that you'll join us for the new series of the Antiques Roadshow.
And that starts next Sunday at 5:50 on BBC1.
At 6:40, Songs of Praise this week comes from the market town of Kirby Lonsdale. Before that, rape is the subject of Streetwise with Sarah Kennedy in 10 minutes. That's after the news, now on BBC1 at 6:20 with Jan Leeming.
South Africa's ambassador to Britain is recalled over the arrest of 4 South Africans here. Maurice Stein is returning home for urgent consultations. 4 South Africans and a Briton have been charged with illegally exporting military equipment to South Africa. South Africa's Foreign Minister, Piek Botha, said the ambassador's recall was linked with the arrests but gave no other details. The 4 South Africans appeared in court in Coventry yesterday and were remanded in custody. The British businessman was allowed bail. The charges they face involve anti-missile weaponry. Michael Sullivan reports from the South African Embassy in London.
It looked at first as if the prosecutions in Coventry were concerned with no more than the alleged infringement of export regulations. But today's events have taken things a good deal further, with the 4 accused South Africans in prison on remand and the 5th accused man, a Briton, out on bail. The South African Foreign Minister, Mr. Pukpuerta, announced from Cape Town that the ambassador to London would be recalled. That's unusual. The South African government isn't usually so quick to react to allegations of impropriety or illegality in other countries, and the recall itself acknowledges the potential gravity of the situation. Here at the South African Embassy in Trafalgar Square in London, it was acknowledged that the ambassador was to go home, but not when, and no more details were announced.
As the miners' strike enters its 4th week, union officials in Nottinghamshire say they might have to reconsider their decision not to join the stoppage. Train drivers there will stop moving coal from 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. 200 members of ASLEF have backed their executive's call. The effect on power stations, though, won't be immediate, as Mike Mackay reports.
Most of the Midlands' 22 power stations were busy this weekend, producing the electricity that meets 1/3 of the total need of England and Wales. As railway footplate men prepared to black the power stations, diggers and bulldozers were quarrying into the 250,000 tonnes of coking coal at Donington Park. In a railway sidings, wagons containing what may be the last 1,000-tonne payload to be delivered here for some time. Right up till Friday night, coal trains were shuttling into power stations like Ratcliffe-on-Soar in the Trent Valley, one of the biggest of its kind in Europe. At peak demand, it can turn to gas turbine generators to boost supply. It's modern, efficient and loaded with coal.
The generating board refused to discuss the quantities of coal at individual power stations, but here at Ratcliffe-on-Soar the unofficial estimate is 1 million tonnes, enough for 2 months burning full out. Yet with the summer approaching and careful eking out, it's thought that tips like this one could last 3 or even 4 months.
The stockpile's been building up for several years, boosted recently by the continuing output of Nottinghamshire miners. One of their officials admitted today they might have to think again following the decision of Nottingham loco men to support the ASLEF ban.
The miners' leader, Arthur Scargill, says trade union support for the strike has rallied because the government has endorsed the police response to picketing, and that, he says, will now increase.
I think that picketing will not subside. I think that picketing will in fact increase, and I'm convinced in my mind that the reaction amongst ordinary trade unionists will be incensed at the attitude of the police and the state in the way that they've intervened in this dispute, and that's one of the reasons why the other trade unions have come to the assistance of the NUM.
3 men are missing after an explosion at the British steelworks at Lac.